Day, aka Miss Well and Woke, and you're watching the Mindful Hustle segment. So we're gonna get into everything from pop culture to current events, but most importantly, we're gonna talk about how these things impact our mental health and our well-being. So let's kick it off with some of the new things that are jumping off. One, y'all see these new air KKKs that Donald Trump has created? Like, the crazy part is the buzz about them. You're literally hearing politicians pointing the fact that they feel like Donald Trump is trying to gain the black vote through sneakers. They really feel like that's the key to our heart. Now, I get it. We made Michael Jordan filthy, nasty rich when it came to the Jays. And we also made Kanye West filthy, nasty rich when it came to the Yeezys. But it's crazy to think that this social media push of dropping these, like I said, these air KKKs or air racists that he got coming out is wild to say that people can use their different political platforms to try to infiltrate our community through fashion, something that people in our community do tend to hold near and dear. We've always been the movers and the shakers and the inventors and the creators of the style. And the style also has a lot of ways to hold the power and the influence. And that's just how big social media has gotten. And I remember a time when social media didn't have that same level of influence. It was just a way for people to connect, link up with lost loved ones, check on an old schoolmate, and very simple. But now it's used as a multimedia platform marketing tool. If you want it, social media has it. If you need to know about it, it's up there. If you want to create it, then you have the platform to do it. And it's just so big that recently we're starting to hear more and more about the youth mental health crisis that's being impacted. So whereas you got Donald Trump releasing these J's, these kids, and ultimately a lot of millennials like myself, are overly exposed to some of the things that are going on. So just this week, I'm watching the news break about Wendywilliams, famous gossip, radio host, TV show hostess, shout out to Wendy. We learned that she's dealing with dementia and aphasia. We watched much of Wendywilliams' rise to fame, as well as much of her falling from fame, not necessarily due to illness, but to a lot of change that was going on in her personal life that we were overexposed to. From the promotion of her documentary to the video releases about her ex. One of the craziest videos that I seen recently was the one with her and Black China. I don't know if anybody knew that they was kicking it like that, but it was a surprise to your girl. I was thrown off. And so when I saw Black China kicking it with, Wendywilliams, I was like, here we go again. Here's social media getting another bite of somebody else's pain. This woman is dealing with a cognitive, debilitating illness that is really impacting her ability to function. And we're getting this teary-eyed moment on camera where I know that Black China has done a lot to really turn her life around and give it to God, as they say. But I did have to question some of the meaning and intention behind this and how overly exposed this woman really was, like in front of everybody, about something so personal that many families of color experience. And so when I think about that, I also think about the influence that social media has when it's time for people to share in a narrative and tell their story. And it's really important that when people tell their story, relatability is everything. So people overly expose themselves. They put all of their personal business out there. And we also watch a lot of other people's personal business too. Whether we comment on it, cheer for them, or whatever have you, a lot of people are out here putting themselves through the gambit just to feel accepted, heard, understood, or to receive some financial gain. Check it out. Y'all heard about this whole Teesareesa? Teesareesa with the who the fuck did I marry on TikTok. Now, I dived in too to this 50-part stories because there was a red flag cornucopia. Like she said, it was the avalanche, the Olympics, the grandiose of red flags. At the end of the day, if you haven't seen it, go check that out. I ain't gonna segue, I ain't gonna give y'all a clip, but the Reesa Teesa story. More importantly to what happened about this story that she told about a person that she married that ended up hoodwinking and bamboozling the out of her. The story that was so important to me is that in a weekend of posting this story, this woman grows between $85,000 and $88,000 in a weekend. The average person may not even see that in terms of a year, but she got it in a weekend just by making herself overly exposed and vulnerable to social media. Y'all don't think that's crazy? Because I think that's low key. That's Delulu. That's Delulu in my mood. So, I'm just saying, It's crazy to say that social media has that type of holds and influence, but then when it comes to our kids, we're saying that it's crippling them. They have a warped sense of self. There's a lot of depression and anxiety experience about having the right look or posting the right thing or doing the right thing that gets you the right notoriety. And there's also a lot of things about following culture, which is that people aren't independently thinking for themselves. They're not being the originators of thought that they think they're being, because everybody's marching to the beat of their own drum. Everybody wants to be somewhat the same and yet stand out and make a difference. But if that's happening to our kids, what do y'all think is happening to the adults out here? I feel like a lot of the mirror of life is being reflected in a very unique way. And we're often not paying attention to how the impact is. Like I said, depression and anxiety not only up for the kids, but for millennials as well, and all of these Gen Zers. It's crazy to say that the same thing that we promote and we love, that gives us entertainment, gives us a place to check out, and allows us to check in with other people, is also creating a very debilitating concern for mental health and well-being. We're so aware of what's going on in the world to the fact that our wokeness is impacting our wellness. And y'all know y'all girl Miss Well and Woke loves to have a happy balance of both. And so when you have that, you gotta question, what are some things that we gotta do to start to reduce this before this ongoing crisis gets away from us? And then we're no longer the social beings that we used to be. We're just robots to connect to one another, not able to be real and share organic, authentic experiences without the need for positive praise from other people, without the need for followers, and without the need for people to feel like they understand what you got going on. Because the reality of it is, what's happening in your life may be relatable to many people, and a lot of people may need to hear some of your story. But don't feel like you have to sell your soul just to get people to understand what you're going through. And make sure you're taking the appropriate channels. Instead of just talking to us out here in TV land and YouTube land and all of that social media land, sometimes you need to sit down with a mental health professional and you need to have those conversations so you can sort out the areas in life that are really getting you down and having you vexed. So start off by reducing some screen time, because literally if you on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Twitch, whatever your bag is, and it starts from TikTok at 8 o'clock in the morning, cut that shit out. That's not the way that you need to start your day. Try some mindful meditation. Try to get into a different vibe before you put all that toxicity into your brain. Because what you watch, just as important as what you read and what you eat, really has a major impact on your overall functioning. So we're gonna set some boundaries around screen time. Make sure that we keep it at a decent hour. We cut it off when we're supposed to. This joint even killing the sleep game. The phone going off every 5 minutes with notifications. We so tapped into the tea that we're losing out on valuable sleep. And I know me, I like some sleep, and it's something I struggle with getting good sleep for a long time. So now that I'm finally finding my groove, I'm not finna let social media hold me back. And I hope y'all don't either. So I want y'all to make sure that you're doing that and you're making sure that you're paying attention into your personal care. And if the information that's coming to you is really heavy and is weighting and triggering, you gotta be able to dissect it with the right people. Make sure that you reach out to, whether it's religious counsel or therapeutic counsel or somebody that you can talk to, like a trusted person in your life that you can really unpack these things with. That's what y'all need to do. Don't bring it out there to social media. Don't let it unfold. There's a place for you, there's a space for you to talk about these things that you're seeing at an overwhelming rate. Don't judge your life based off of the circumstances of other people, because everything, baby, that glitters isn't always gold. Ain't that what mama always said? But I'm mind my business. It's your girl yet again, Miss Well and Woke with the Mindful Hustle. Tune in with me to keep it going.